Hello all. This video is a bit different from our usual ones because there's no travelling around, and it's about cooking off grid, or more pertinently about not cooking with gas. So when we were designing the layout of the boat, we decided not to have gas installed. We've got the gas lockers just in case we wanted to put them in afterwards, but I felt that with a really good solar panel setup and good batteries, we could manage with all the other methods that you can cook with as well, not to have gas. And it means that we don't have to carry 2 bottles around, and the BSS is easier to pass because that's one of the main things they check. But more importantly, environmentally, it would be good not to use gas. And since we made that decision, gas bottles have become, at some points in time, like hen's teeth, and the price has gone right up. So that was an unintended benefit for us choosing not to have it. We don't have a microwave either, and we do cook everything from scratch, so it's not a question of just heating things up. We really like good food, so we had to be able to cook from scratch every night, whatever the weather, wherever we were. And so hopefully, if you're thinking about whether to have gas or not, this might help. So I'm going to go through all my different cooking methods. Well, I suppose all cooking starts with the hob, and we've got an induction hob. We bought a Bosch 3 kilowatt, which is the lowest kilowatt induction hob you can buy, and it has 4 burners on it. But in fact, we only really use 2. The inverter doesn't like it when we have more on. We can use 3 at very low levels, but definitely not 4. And in fact, I've realised it's rare that you'd need 4 anyway. So I could have got away with a 2 burner one, but it's quite useful. You know, I keep the kettle and pans on it anyway. Oh, and if you've got an induction hob, you can buy these mats from Lakeland, which are made of silicone and completely protect the glass surface, and you can cook through them. Never knew such a thing existed. Anyway, for a meal like this, we're still running our stove in the evening at the moment, so everything will start off on the hob. We're having a nettle frittata tonight. I picked some nettles earlier and I've just blanched them. So everything will go in here and go into the oven, but all started off on there. And then obviously we use it for the kettle, and I use the steamer because we have usually a pile of vegetables every night, so I have a tower steamer which makes most efficient use of it. So the induction hob was a good buy, and it works really well on a boat. And now for the oven. We didn't put a lot of thought into this when we fitted the boat out. We just automatically assumed that we would want a single domestic electric oven, and so we had it here. I'll show you. Now this is the area where we originally had our electric oven, and it went all the way from here down to the floor. The thing is that when there's 2 of you, you really don't need a whole oven. I mean, even if you do a roast dinner or you cook a cake, you're using 1 shelf in the oven. And so we went back to the drawing board and we got rid of that big oven and actually got space for 2 more drawers off under there. Then we bought one of those mini tower ovens, which are quite cheap, but its temperature was totally inaccurate, and I think that's a problem with them. I put a thermometer in and I never really got the temperature I wanted, and I couldn't trust it, so we got rid of that. And then on Facebook Marketplace I found a German oven, a Cube. It's a sort of air fryer cum convection oven, and it's lovely. It works really well. I'll show it to you. So it lives down here where we had the original oven, and if I'm just heating something up, warming something through, then I'll use it down there. But if I want to have it on for a cake or a roast or something like that, I lift it out. And I use it up on the worktop, and it's at eye level then, so I don't have to keep bending down. It's got loads of settings on it. You can even prove your dough in it. It's got a little tray for air frying. It's got rotisserie things on it, so you can do a chicken, and it heats up to temperature really quickly, and it maintains a perfectly accurate temperature because I've had the thermometer in it. And because it's so small, it uses really little energy. I'm just getting used to kilowatt hours. I've been a bit useless with them. I tend to look at the percentage that's left on the battery and work out how much these things are using, which I'm told is not the way to do it. So I'm just getting my head around kilowatt hours. So I can't say yet exactly how much a cake is in kilowatt hours, but I will get there. But this is great for in between seasons as well. So in the summer we'll cook outside a lot, in the winter we'll cook on the stove oven, but in between times this is perfect. And on Sundays, if you want to do a bit of baking or a roast, this is perfect. So I really like this, and honestly Facebook Marketplace is full of these sorts of ovens, and you don't have to buy a new one, you don't have to, you know, pay a lot of money out for it. This one, which was an unwanted wedding present, a horrible phrase, but I got it for £100, and I think they're probably about double that, so bargain, and I really like it. So this is another way of cooking, and I use this all the time. I've had it for 12 years. It's ancient, getting quite grubby, but I'm sure you've seen these. They're called Wonder Bags. This is a large one, and you can get them in small and medium as well. And you can get a really large pan in this, like a big cast iron pan. And they work by retaining a very high heat in whatever you've made, so you can do long slow cooks in them, and they're great as doubling up as cold bags as well. So what I'm going to do is make a rolled breast of lamb today, and I'll show you how it works in the Wonder Bag. So I've got my rolled piece of lamb, which I'm going to quickly unroll. I'm going to shove this paste in it that I made, which is just olive oil, some herbs and some garlic, and then I'm going to roll it up again and brown it off in the pan. So the meat is browned. Now I'm going to sit it on some chunks of onion, some potatoes, and some big lumps of carrot. You don't have to cut them too small. Better to do them French style. And then I haven't got much stock, just a little bit there, so that's going to go in. And Henry's got this beer he didn't like very much, so I'm going to use that instead. And the thing with a Wonder Bag is that it's not, the liquid isn't evaporating, so you need to get your sauce right at this point, not too thin. I'm going to add a bit of mustard and a bit of miso as well. And then you bring it up and simmer it for 15 minutes, and then it'll go in the Wonder Bag for about 6 hours. So it's used really little energy, and I'll show you what it looks like when it comes out this evening. So here we go, about 5 hours later. Oops, and it's still nice and hot. And everything's cooked in there, and it's really tender. And I'm just going to take the lamb out, cut a few slices off and crisp them up in the pan. But it's used really little energy, and all the stock I've got left in there will make a really nice soup tomorrow. So I really recommend the Wonder Bags. They're great, especially in winter, and especially for all those cheap cuts of meat that need a long slow cook, and they're always the tastiest anyway, so good on that. And killing two birds with one stone is our stove oven. It maintains a steady heat of between 180 to 200, so it's great for bakes and cakes and all that sort of thing. We use it all the time in the winter, every night. So this is one of our ways of cooking, weather dependent of course. So we've got the barbecue and the Dutch oven. Tonight we're having roast duck and potatoes and butternut squash, and I'll steam some vegetables to go with it. So the lid can double up as a frying pan, and what we need to get for this is like a grill with foldable legs on it so that it can stand over the barbecue, and we can put the Dutch oven lid on top and use it to fry things as well. And that extends its use then. But for the moment I'm just going to pop the lid back on and finish roasting this lot off. The other thing that you can do with these is to put pieces of charcoal on the lid, and then you can cook bread and cakes in there as well. It acts like a proper oven. So I think they're super useful, these things. They weigh a ton, quite expensive to buy, but we've had this one for probably 10-15 years and we've used it every summer. So we've had our money's worth out of it, and it's proving invaluable canal side. So this is another way we save energy. It's called a storm kettle, and it's like a vacuum with a chimney up the middle and a tiny little dish at the bottom that you can burn paper and card in, and it's fantastic for using up all your paper and card recycling instead of having to carry it around. And it boils, just with paper and card, it boils the water in minutes. So you can be sitting out on the towpath wanting a cup of tea, and you don't have to use any of your battery or your gas up if you've got one of these, and you can get rid of some of your recycling as well. This has been, we've had it for 10 years, and it's been on our cycling holidays with us. It's been all over Germany and Scotland and France. It's cooked porridge in the mornings. It's made a cup of tea for all the lads in their tents to get them out of their sleeping bags. It's brilliant. Nearly boiling. Oh. It comes with a little contraption you can put on it to cook things in as well. And you can use twigs and things like that, and it's called a storm kettle because it's protected from the winds, so even if it's raining you can get one of these going. And everything stops for tea. Now we like a really nice sourdough, but often when you're out and about they're difficult to find and always horrendously expensive when you do. And to cook them yourself on the boat, or any bread for that matter, is hugely energy intensive because you need a very hot oven for a certain amount of time. So a really low energy way to make your sourdough is to make muffins instead. These are the old-fashioned English muffins sort of thing. So you have your dough and you have your griddle pans on a medium heat, not too high, and you cook them for 5 minutes either side till they puff up, and then you can bung them in the freezer and have a couple a day, and you have your sourdough fix. Well, I hope that was interesting and gave you some ideas. There's loads of other gadgets on the market that don't use a lot of energy. We've seen other boaters using all sorts of things, and I haven't even had a chance to try this out yet. And it's a little portable barbecue that we found in a chazza in Godalming for 15 quid. It's on legs, so we can use it on the boat. And it'd be perfect for just cooking off a bit of fish or some chops or whatever. That's yet to come. But with all the other methods that we have, we've never yet had a problem. Doesn't matter if it's raining, doesn't matter if there isn't sun, there's always a good method that we can use to cook dinner. And so that's it for this week. See you on the next video. Bye for now.